yesterday on the conference call about the league race being as tight as it is. Does it feel different than all these other times when it's been maybe you play Duke at the end of the year, the winner takes the 1 seed? I mean, does it feel different with all these teams playing each other? And
I think so. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but it definitely feels different for me. I mean, this time at the end of the year, you hope you're involved and you're looking to see who's playing who and which location, but you're doing it for 2 or 3 teams now. You're doing it for 7 or 8 or 9 teams, and seeing the strength of schedule and the imbalanced schedule, is that going to play a big part in it? So I think it is much more so with more teams involved.
Roy, along those lines, 3 of your last 4 are on the road, 2 of which are against rivals, 1 of which is at Virginia, top 5 team. Do you like that type of challenge for your team in the last 12 days of the regular season heading into the postseason?
I'd rather play you guys, than you feel like you're going to win, but I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm doing differently. I don't ever remember that.
I don't know who's this mic is. I want to see if that's
Okay. I said that, yeah.
I don't know who this is, but that. Sorry.
You've got the magic touch.
I felt like I was talking in a well. The thing about it is the schedule, you know what it is at the start of the season. When we started the season, I said, well, gosh, that's really loaded at the end of the year. But, these games at the first of the year are really difficult too, because you never know how things are going to be. We have all our opinions. You guys vote, we vote, sometimes we don't vote. I pick who I think is going to be the top 4 and all this kind of thing with my buddies. I don't think you really know until you get into your schedule what it's really going to be like. And so for me, it doesn't make a difference whether you play it at the first, middle, or the last. One year I thought, when I was two different times, once as an assistant, once as a head coach, we started here and we played what we thought was going to be 3 of our biggest rivals on the road in the first 4 games. And we started out 4-0. And to me, at that point, basically the race was over with. And then one year at Kansas, we did the same thing, where we had some big games early, and we won all of them, and the race was basically over with. But then you also remember 2009, we lose our first 2 games, and we end up winning the conference championship. So I've never really tried to put it, when you get down to this spot, and you say, man, these are 4 big-time games, you know the challenges. But, at this time of year, I'd just soon play those kind of games as any. I really would. If you play somebody that's been struggling, and I think Jimmy Christian is really a good coach. But before I got vertigo, I was worried about the BC game, because you keep thinking they're going to get somebody, and you don't want it to be you.
It's a little different from what Greg asked, but the competitor in you, is there a party that kind of likes the fact that there's a lot of competition at the top right now?
Well, I like the fact that we're playing 4 games and they all mean something. There's no question about that. You're more fired up. You're more anxious to get to practice. You want to stay out there a little bit longer. You want to watch a little more tape. If it's the other way around and you're playing 4 teams that are really bad, then you're scared to death. And right now you're just excited about the opportunities, the way I look at it.
Have you sensed an increase of alertness and so forth from the guys?
We don't really talk to them about that. We really don't. We go 1 game at a time. I know that's that cliche that you guys don't like to write about, but we do. We play next game. I think somebody said you're on the conference call. One guy asked me about Virginia and Duke. I said, hey, we got North Carolina State on Wednesday night. And then someone said, no, we got North Carolina State on Wednesday night. You're not listening. And that's the way you look. Was that you?
no,
Oh, okay.
trust me, it was not.
We shake our head.
He wouldn't say it if it was.
We would have laughed at you. No, but I did. I kept saying, wait a minute, we got North Carolina State on Wednesday night. And that's all we talk about with our team, too. As a coach, I got North Carolina State stats, I got our stats, I got the ACC stuff, I got all this stuff laying on the floor beside my desk. I lived a glamorous life today. I had Wendy's chili brought in, so I'm looking at all this stuff. So, I look at everything, but we don't do that to the players now.
When Marcus mentioned that he was more comfortable playing some point guard, that you talked about that a bit after the game yourself. Is that going to be more of a priority for you guys, getting him more time at that position?
Yes and no. I don't think we're going to do anything to change what we have, but he is a playmaker, and we want to do that. But like I said last night in the radio show, we don't run a lot of set plays, but we run some. And every set play is designed to get a layup first, and then there's an option for a guy shooting a jump shot. And guys, I don't know what number, but I'm gonna say 90% of those are for Marcus to get the jump shot. So we'd be stupid to say, okay, you're gonna play the point guard, and, because that means you're not gonna run any set plays, because I'm not gonna ask Joel to do that and to learn another spot. But, you know, the plans weren't exactly, it didn't go according to plan necessarily when he got hurt and he came back and then we're doing so well. And but he's in a position, I mean, you think about it, he wasn't, I shouldn't say this, but I don't think he was. He wasn't the point guard the last 3 plays of the Duke game. Wasn't Joel in the game? Okay, the 3rd play's in the end, we got the ball to him and he penetrated. And ended up turning the next play, we got it to him and he threw it to Kennedy and Kennedy missed layup. And then the next play, if somebody screened for me, we got the shot. So you don't have to be the point guard to be the guy that the coach wants to handle the ball. I've said that since day one. But I like him at the point guard, but Joel's doing some good things too. And it's just that with missing the time and then coming back and we were winning and didn't do it as much as we wanted, but is it going to be a priority? Yes. Is it going to be my main priority? No.
Could you tell a difference in him the other day in terms of maybe comfort level or confidence or any kind of intangible effect that it had?
A little bit, but again, why did he spend so much time at the point guard? Joel Berry was foul trouble. We only played 18 minutes, so it's not just like, well, Roy figured out how to do this. I mean, that would have happened 5 games ago. It would have happened 10 games ago. But Joel Berry had 4 fouls because it's just like somebody says, you know, well, Marquise, you need to get him out and put in that other quarterback. Well, Marquise is doing pretty well. Okay, Trubisky is really good, but Marquise is doing pretty well. And every time any fan or you guys or whatever wants you to put one guy in another place, just ask how that other guy's doing. And if you guys think that Joel Berry sucked, then I'd say I'd probably disagree with that.
One more about
I saw that on a commercial last night on TV.
one more about Marcus. How important is it though to get him going, approaching the stretch run?
It's
approaching
important to
March?
get him going, but guys, be serious. You know, I mean, we put too much, I'm not a huge fan of analytics. I think they're extremely important. I'm not going to go to bed every night because if somebody tells me what's the best game Marcus Page played this year, I'd say Maryland. And then the second one, I'd play Florida State. And go back and look how many minutes he played as a point guard. He's a daggum good basketball player. And so I don't think that's the cause of all the ills, and I don't think that playing the point guard makes him a better player. I don't think that not playing the point guard, I mean, I don't know that I've ever had a point guard, big guard, anybody play like he did at Florida State, and nobody even talked about it, because there was another guy that went wacko, 39 and 23. And in Maryland, his first game back, I thought he was sensational. And so it's, I'm trying to make sure I don't make it a bigger thing than it is, because it's not that big a deal.
After going back, we talked about the day of the game, but the job that you guys did on Cat the first time, what were some of the keys? I think Barry got
We
some.
were
trouble
lucky.
with-
He did make some shots that he made. So, I mean, first half, Marcus played great defense on him, and he banked one in from the foul line. Well, in the second half, he had a couple of open looks and didn't make them. And so what we have to do is try to do the same kind of job we did and get a little lucky too. I mean, you go back and look early in the game, first 10 minutes of the game, Marcus was just all over him, and he banked it in from the foul line. I don't think Cat really intended to bank it in, and the defense was great, but he still made it. And second half, we did try to run fresher people at him to try to do that. But so, you know, after that game, next 3 or 4 games, everybody tried to run fresh people at him too, and he got, 700 or whatever the next 3 games. You have to be lucky to a guy like Cat that you got to keep him off the foul line because you can't guard him there. And so has he not made more free throws than anybody else in the league?
I know it's tempted.
Something like that. And so I think that's the biggest key, is keep him off the foul line, because again, that gets you in foul trouble, so it's good for them and bad for us both.
You kept him off the line.
Yeah.
How do you weigh player of the year kind of candidates in that sense of, is it team, you think the guy on the best team has, the best guy on the best team, or you look at a guy like Cat who numbers and eyeball tests say he's a candidate, but the record hasn't been what they want? I mean, how do you look at something like that
And I
typically?
think it's up to each individual. He's like Jones. You expect me to say that I don't think Cat deserves it 24 hours before we go over
No,
and
no,
play?
no, but just,
Come on, guys.
no, but just in general, how you gauge something like that is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't. And I'm being truthful. And, oh gosh, 92, long time ago. I thought Rex Walters was the best player in the league in Big 8. And he was not the conference player of the year. They gave it to Sean Vanderbilt. And it really made me mad. But Sean Vanderbilt, whom I love, tried to recruit. And we still have a lot of fun together now on the road because he's a college coach too. He led the league in scoring and rebounding. That's not bad. You know, that's not bad. So it's different criteria. Depends on what certain people value more importantly. And, so I don't think in the 13 years that I've gotten here, I've ever gotten any discussion about my guy should be player of the year or my guy shouldn't be or anything, because I just leave that alone. Because if I did vote, I would have one vote out of 50 or one vote out of 100.
Or the Gottlieb thing the other day, when he mentioned the retirement speculation really seemed to kind of get under your skin a little bit. I'm wondering why that was. Was it just because it was so unfounded, you thought, or?
3 or 4 reasons. I mean, you asked me about it yourself, and I don't think I went after you. You asked me if I was going to make my decision. I can't speak and tell you exactly what you asked. And I said no, because I've been dealing with it for 20 years. I mean, I got Clint and Steve to do some work for a change. Jason Day had vertigo and finished 9th in the U.S. Open, just because he had vertigo and it was national television and people want him to retire. At the end of the year, before the FedEx Cup, all the discussion was, is Jason Day or Jordan Spieth going to be the national player of the year, or whatever it is, player of the year in the PGA Tour. And so that's what bothered me. It was unfounded because there's no information. There's only one source. There's only one. And Roy Williams has never said anything about that, never led anybody to believe anything like that. That was just a guy stating his opinion that I didn't appreciate because he acted like that there was something to it and he knew something. So the unfounded part, I got upset because of that. And then the second part, and this is the more personal thing, is that, well, part of it's more it's my life. I get to do what the crap I want to do. I'm not going to be led by somebody like that. But the other thing is, think about what we've had to do the last 3 or 4 years here. We've had to put up with more stuff, more negative recruiting than at any time in my career, any time in any other coach's career that I ever talked to. So I'm thinking that's just something else that now we've got to, to answer to. Because it's been unbelievable the last 3 or 4 years, the negative recruiting because of the stuff that's going on here that I've had to put up with. And I don't want anything else, don't need anything else. And if you want to say something is your opinion, that's fine, but don't act like that, oh, you've got some information.
In some ways, does this adversity you've experienced kind of want to make you stay perhaps even longer than you thought you might have?
I love the place. If I was going to leave, I would have left the first day because I knew I was not involved. It's pretty simple for me. Is that all right? Do you know why Steve comes up here? He tries to come up here because I let him keep me out of trouble. No, with me, I don't ever want to leave when things, when I leave, I want it to be in good shape. And for me, this would have been a very hard time to leave, but, I'm going to get old one of these daggone days. When I'm 94, I don't want to be sitting up here saying the same damn thing that NCAA and university need to get the crap over with. When would 94 be? 30 to 29 more years? Hell, y'all be dead by then.
Have you,
You're in a bad business, boy. You could be dead by then.
have you heard from anybody from
Say
CBS?
something about a coach, he could go after you.
Have you heard from anybody from CBS or Doug since
I
this
have
happened?
not, no, I have not.
That kind of surprised you? Given the way you responded and the reaction it's gotten, the attention it's gotten?
I don't know the attention or the reaction because whether you guys believe it or not, I'm not on the internet. I don't know what's being said. I barely read the papers right now because I like to see scores, and I barely do. So, I think one thing you do when you react to things like that, you give it more attention than maybe it deserves.
Doug Show called and asked to have Coach on with him on Monday, and I said, no, thank you.
And he did that without asking.
And I didn't ask Coach.
And I said, fine. I had more things to be doing anyway, but, to me, it's not gonna change anything, it's not gonna be a bearing. I just didn't appreciate it, because I don't think you should do people like that.
Coach Godfrey said yesterday you guys look like the Spurs against Miami. Not to use that comparison, but did you feel like that was your best performance of the year?
I just hope he doesn't look like the Warriors tomorrow night. You know, I think I remember the score of that game, the Warriors and the Spurs. You know, it was, I don't want to oversimplify it and make it sound ridiculous about the ball going in the basket, but that's a huge part of it. But our kids were extremely disappointed the way we handled the end of the game and didn't do the things we wanted to do. And I really pushed them very hard to not hold that in and let it linger and let it affect other performances. Because Steve Robinson has a saying, in this kind of league, you lose a game, and if you're not careful, you lose another game, and then all of a sudden you can lose another game, and all of a sudden you lose another game. And so my whole thing was just to try to make sure that we put that Duke game behind us. And I think the kids really did a nice job of that. And you know, Miami turns around last night and plays really, really well. And so it is. I think Jimmy said it was in his conference, a press conference after the game. He said, "Hey, in this team, in this league, you lose." You know, wasn't that here when he said that? And so I think that's part of it. But we were pretty doggone good. But as a coach, you can always find some things you want them to get better at. And getting ready to play state, I mean, I know they had 23 points off offensive rebounds, and the only team I think to get more than that all year was Texas, and they had 27, I think. So if you look at all the stats in the league, you know, we talked about Cat, and Cat is a huge part of their club, but their offensive rebound, I think they're first in the league in offensive rebounds, and that's the thing that we've got to really focus on, is playing against North Carolina State tomorrow night, whether we're the Spurs and they're the Warriors or not, but to really try to focus on them. Tomorrow night's game will be won tomorrow night.
Is that a tough place to play, Coach? Because everybody's gunning for North Carolina no matter what, every game, but is it a little bit more over there at the PNC because of the rivalry?
It's a tough game, but I think it is because of the rivalry. They're all tough. They really are, and I know you guys don't like to hear it say like that, but they really are. And you know, their crowd really gets into it, and they want to make a huge run here at the end of the league, and they've got an opportunity to do it with their schedule. They've got some challenging teams and some games that they know they want to win.
Is there anything on tape you've seen different from when Hicks is in lineup versus when Meeks is in lineup, whether the offense works better, one or the other, or the defense flows better with one or the other?
Not really. You know, and my whole thing is how the team plays at the end. And Kennedy's been important to us, and when Kennedy was starting, Isaiah was really important to us. We used to keep a stat about what the team score was when everyone was in the lineup, the different matchups. And I found out that it didn't tell me one blessed thing I didn't already know. So I stopped doing it. So now I just want to know when they go in the game, and you'll see me turn around. I'll ask CB more questions than anybody on our bench, and 50% of the time I'll say, who's been in there the longest? Or how long is so-and-so been? How long has Marcus been over here? He's been over here for 3 days and 3 hours. And he said, no, he's been over here 21 seconds. You know, that kind of thing. But that's the only thing I even use that for now. But I used to have that at the end of the game I could say, hey, while you were in the game, we're plus 30. And while you were in the game, we're minus 10. But I just felt like it wasn't useful enough for me because I already knew those things.
Have you made a decision who's going to start in that spot?
No.
Anybody else? We'll get Justin Jackson.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach.